What I should do. I don't know the name. I don't know the name of that machine. So I got to find it. Because what I'm doing here is we have this pi4j-springboot app. Auto configure. It'll give you a bunch of details about the pins that are connected to your Raspberry Pi. But right now I'm on an M1, and I'm trying to figure out like what's the right way. I probably should have done this before I started the show, but you know, like this matters too, right? Like this is interesting. Maybe let me figure out what the name of that computer is. So there's a Raspberry Pi connected to the network. Do I have it set up in? What if I was smart? I would have set it up in my VPN, but it doesn't look like I did. I definitely didn't. So let's see if I can figure it out. You know what? Actually, I have. I think I have it. I have the monitor. So let's do this. I'm going to pull up the screen. Camera. This one. Maybe. Wait, oh, it's not working. So this is, oh, I know why. I have to do this. If I go down to like 360 or something like that. I don't know what, I don't remember what the trick is to present that, the screen on that other camera or on the other device. Oh, it completely broke. It completely broke my StreamYard. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, wait, okay. Let's try a different resolution. I didn't like that either. Maybe? No? Doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. All right, let's try that again. Let's stop that one. Let's try another mode. Or I can just figure out what the name of that computer is. That's probably an easier way. All right, here we go. Let's go look at the network stuff. It's on its own VLAN. So I should be able to find it. Devices. Does anybody want to guess, if there's anybody here, does anybody want to guess how many computers are connected to this network? Oh, and then and most of them are not connected at the moment. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah. Here, let's put this one back up. Please hold. All right. It's Spring Cubed. That's the name of the device, right? Spring Cubed. Perfect. So yeah, let's just do all the updating. So I'm connected to that Raspberry Pi device. We're just, you know, by default, we like to keep things ladies and grace. It wasn't plugged in actually until just a couple of minutes ago. Look at this. Hello, hello, James. Welcome, welcome. Shevchenko. I can say that. I'm not sure if it's Gennady. Welcome. I really appreciate you joining. Yep, and I definitely have some Keychron. Those are the kids' keyboards. They're nice and loud. The kids got to, when they're practicing typing, they got to pick out their own keyboard and they got their own keys, colored keys and keys with letters. The idea is they get to take out the letter once they've got that letter mastered, and then eventually they'll have a keyboard like mine that doesn't have any letters on it. I would say 5+, you got a monitor behind you, so I'll say you got more. Yeah, there's 4 kids over there, so there's 4 like little stations right there for, look at this. Philip Charlie Daniel, one of my favorite people in the world. I've known him for 20+ years. We have gone through a lot of stuff together, and he just got some good news this week, and I couldn't be more proud. So thank you so much for joining. What I'm doing is, connecting to stuff. I think that 1 million, I think that's his guess on how many devices are connected to the network. And at the moment, there are 46. 46 is the number. So good job. You were the closest because you're the guest. Appreciate you. So we're working on this pi4j-springboot project. We're going to keep on upgrade. We're going to keep on sudo apt upgrade. We're going to keep on keeping that thing updated. It is a Raspberry Pi 4 that has 2 gigs of memory on it. And the project that we're working on is pi4j-springboot. So the idea is you can deliver your Spring Boot app to a Raspberry Pi and have a starter, just like you would with anything else. So, and that starter will have the same defaults. So when you add that starter to your project and you deliver it to your Raspberry Pi, you'll get information about the pins, everything that you get from the pi4j project. So we've just put a wrapper, a Spring starter wrapper around the pi4j library. That's what we're doing. So in order to test it, we've got to build the artifact and we got to get it over there. So we got to figure out some fast way of getting our changes validated on that Spring Boot app. I did a stream a while ago. It was back in January where we kind of like first kicked this off with my colleague Daniel Frey, and it was awesome. So now we're going to pick it up. On the stream, we were working together, and yes, Icon, welcome. Thank you so much. Icon, you might find this interesting. What I'm working on is a starter, a library that will give us a nice, easy way to interface with a Raspberry Pi. So I've got a bunch of these Raspberry Pis around the house, and that number has actually, I said it was going to decrease before it increased, but I can't give away Raspberry Pi 0Ws. I think I'm going to be giving away about 30 Raspberry Pi 0Ws. So they're the ones that are 32-bit. So I can't run Spring on them. So if I can't run Spring on them, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give them away. Somebody will have fun with them. I used to give them away when I volunteered at code.org. I'd give them away at the schools. So these ones are going to be gently used and deployed around the house, but it's time. It's time for them to be redeployed somewhere. Sure you can. Here's what we're going to do. So I've purchased a few more, and I said I was going to not purchase a few more, but I have a problem. I can stop anytime I want, so it's not really a problem. But this is what I'm doing. And if you would like a Raspberry Pi 0W for free, here's what you need to do. Let's do this. Let's create a banner. Let's say free 0W free Raspberry Pi 0 or 0W. Follow on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Then what's the best way? Then email your mailing address. There we go. Let's do that. Boop. I should do it this way too. Email your mailing address. Twitter and usernames. So like this, boop, boop. I'm gonna do it like this, and Twitch or YouTube. Follow on Twitch or all right, I think we got this. Then email me your mailing address, Twitter username, and usernames. Boop. That's fair. Boop, there. So if you want to get one, follow me on Twitter, follow on Twitch, or subscribe on YouTube. You do both of those. Then send me your mailing address and the usernames, and I will mail you a Raspberry Pi Zero. Nice and easy. Easy peasy. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to decrease the number of Raspberry Pis that are not being used in my house. All right. So nice. It is nice. Let's do this. So here we're still updating. Daemons using outdated libraries. Good. Okay, let's restart it. That's an easy maintenance to do on a computer. Do your brew update. Do your apt update. Do your apt upgrade. Do those things. Chocolatey. Do the upgrades. Don't wait for them to build up. You should do those regular. And if you're really awesome, like it's easy to do on Raspberry Pi, just delete it all and let's go. So yeah, if you're already following me, cool. Just shoot me an email and show me that your usernames, and we'll go. That's totally, yeah. Like you don't have to like unfollow and follow. Yeah, just shoot me an email. Give me your address. And I told you I'm going to be in Detroit in 33 days, 32 days. So we have to have a conversation here soon before I go. I'm actually going to bring my daughter. So it ought to be a good time. It ought to be a good time. It would be fun to hang out. All right. So that box is up and running. Now what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to upgrade this project. So this project actually has multiple projects in it. So what I should have done is I should go to, I can do it here because this is like a parent palm. Do we want this to be awesome? See you at the premiere. Yes. All right. Wonderful. Good luck, Charlie. We'll see you soon. Is it a Java conference? It is kind of a Java conference. It's a spring thing that we're doing with some customers there. So, yes. So what we're going to do here is, as you can see, this is 3.0.5 for Spring Boot. And For those of you that don't know, Spring Boot 3.1.0 was released a whole week ago. So we've got this project sitting here that's outdated. So we're going to try to update it. Not RC1. We want the full deal. And then we're going to see if, so it says 001 EA. So let's take a look. I might have been using some. Okay, what is this? Spring Boot dependencies POM. Oh, here. Wait, why is that saying that? Oh, that is the current version. So what I like to do is I gotta learn about this project. I gotta figure out what's happening here. So by setting this, I don't expect it to be there. And it's okay. So I think that's okay. What I should do is this. Let's just try, nope, not here. Here. Let's do this, MNW clean package. Let's just build it so I have a copy of it. Non-resolvable. So this thing isn't found. Or Spring Framework boot, Spring Boot dependencies POM. Why is it doing that? What is that? Because I changed this? It shouldn't be. Line 71. pi4j board info version. Can you share experience? Can you share experience of Spring IO? Aiming to be there next year. What I can do is I can say and I kind of talked about this on our Spring Office Hours yesterday. So first, let me say, Niha, thank you so much for joining. And then I will say Spring IO was a conference where I felt like I was at the cool kids table at lunch. Not only were the speakers absolutely amazing, top notch, great conversations all the way around, but the audience, like I felt like somehow that conference got like, every company, every org has like a good, better, best bucket. I feel like somehow this conference, if the people that were there weren't already in the best bucket, these were the people that were destined to be in the best bucket at whatever org that they're at. The audience at the conference was amazing. And it was like concentrated amazing. So I haven't been to that many conferences, and my experiences and all that kind of stuff, kind of the conferences are similar types. So something about this conference was just really special. Last year I had all the FOMO for this conference, and I was looking forward. I was excited. I knew that it was going to be that good of a conference based on the content that came out of last year. All of my expectations were exceeded at this conference. It was, if you can afford to go, anybody, if you can afford to go and you have any interest in Spring and the Spring ecosystem, this is the conference for you. No matter where you are in the world, if you could go to one conference a year and you're a Spring fan, this is the one. So yeah. But with that, I can't say, hey, Spring 1 is coming up. And Spring 1 is going to be an amazing conference. But yeah, I've been to Spring 1. It's massive, much larger. There's going to be a lot more stuff on the table at Spring 1. But yeah, Spring IO, no joke, it was an amazing conference. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But yeah, and they've already started pushing out content. Like you can already start to see some of the videos, the presentations that were done. So yeah, definitely. Thank you for the follow, Ginka, Pinka. I appreciate it. So we are trying to figure out how to get. I have something interesting here where I might need to like do some build stuff. So this pi4j sample app has one error: non-resolvable POM, not found. I don't know why the POM file for the sample app isn't working, and this might just be something where. So this one. It looks like it needs the parent POM. I'm looking, I'm just kind of reading. Yep, so this, pi4j-springboot. So it needs this one to be built. So that's kind of weird. Let's do this. No, it's going to do the same thing. Local repository resolution is not reattempted until the update interval of central has elapsed. It was like -u. No, there's a way to say like, hey, ignore that. Maybe it's -o. I don't remember what we did last time. So I don't know all the things. And this is why I stream. Sometimes it's easier to think out loud when I have people watching. So let's do a -n. So we'll just do the top, and then that should get built, and then do the others. Nope, that didn't help either. The build could not read 3 projects. Build plugins, plugin.version is missing. So it's weird. Wait, did it work? When I did it with the -n, it said, hey, building this 001 EA, cool, and it installs it. Wonderful. But then if I do it with everything else, let's go back up to the top and see what it says. It says some problems were encountered while processing the POM. Build for Jacoco Maven plugin. Okay, let's find that. Wait, build plugins. It says Jacoco Maven plugin version. Is that a thing? I did not have these problems. Jacoco. Did not have these problems last time. So let's take a look and see. So it got recently updated. This looks like there's a 0810. So we were on, we were on 089, I think, before. We were on 087, which is from 2021. So we're going to change that to 0810. To Jacoco Maven plugin .version 0810. And these developer connection, I think I have access to those. Cool. Is that in here? Maven deploy plugin, Maven compiler plugin, Java plugin, jar plugin. See, I don't feel like I need those, but we'll keep it on. JReleaser, good. This is a well put together repository. So let's do this again. Let's install it. Now we've got the new version. Let's see if we can get that new version. Just pull stuff down. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, let's just get it. So, whoop. Let's try that again. What is the error? Why are we not having any success? This has to be a super boring stream. I apologize. We are trying to build this repository. And what is it saying? Okay. Oh, wait, I went too far. Let's do it this way. Okay. Some problems. This is missing. Why does it say build plugins, plugin version is missing? Line 84. That's not in this project, is it? No. Non-resolvable import POM. I don't know why it's getting that during a previous attempt. That failure was cached in a local repository and resolution is not attempted. Okay. But so I got that same error 1, 2, 3 times. So what that's telling me is the error is happening in those files. Okay, so it's these subs. So in that POM, it's saying, hey, my parent, I think there's a way of doing this where I say, we're in the POM, look up parent from repository. I think I might need something like that. I'm not sure, I'm guessing. Where, hey, here's my parent. Let's do it here. And the other thing is, I think I can do this. No. And one more. All right, let's try that. That didn't work either. If not specified, it defaults to /POM. That's what we want. Maven looks at the parent POM first in this location on the file system, then the local repository, and lastly the remote repo. All right, so let's do, oops, that would dash U. Close, so it's still saying, why is it looking for Spring Boot dependencies 001 EA when I'm saying, hey, the parent POM is this? Why is it doing that? Up here, I say org Spring framework, like this is my parent. What is this? That's this version. Oh wait, is this supposed to be? Yeah, this is project app version, right? This makes sense. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go over here to start.spring.io. I'm gonna do a quick sanity check. I like to use the actuator. And I'm making a Maven, and I'm going to get a POM. So let's go and explore that POM. So that's how that works, and that's how that works, right? Like that's straightforward enough. We're not doing anything crazy. I looked at the SSDs, they're the same. And this is just a POM. I haven't done a multi-module project in a while. We're going to get this figured out. So that's good. Let's do that. Did it do the... hello? All right, update. No, not snapshots. I want to update everything. Let me see if I can do it this way. I don't understand why it's trying to ask for that. Try to run import -u, force update snapshots. We don't need that. What's up? What is going on? Non-resolvable import. So let's go take a look at this. So this is where this is defined. Let's see what happens now. How well do you know, the Maven schema for palms? Clearly, I don't know it well enough. So now, if it doesn't have that value, oh, it was in the others. It was still set up in the others. Yeah, this is shouldn't be this hard. So let's do this. Instead of like spinning my wheels, let's go look at another project. Let's go to a the actuator starter, the one I pulled in. Spring boot actuator starter. All right, so we're looking at another project. Spring boot actuator. Spring boot starters. Cool. So there's the do I have another? I've done another starter. There's got to be an example here. Spring boot starter, spring boot starters, spring boot starter. Where was the actuator auto configure? But these are all done in Gradle, so I'm not getting that one-to-one like, hey, here's where it is. So let's figure that out. Oh man, look at that. That one might not be the easiest one to look at. Spring boot project. I'm trying to think of what another easy one might be. How about rest docs? That's why I know. But none of these are going to be done with a Maven Palm. So that's not really gonna help me out a whole bunch. So let me think real fast, or do you know any? What's a good starter that I can go and look at? project, yeah. There. Readers from starter. That one in the modules. There are some examples. It's a good place to go to. Let's go to the documentation, right? There's got to be something about it there. Springboot docs. Yeah, that's the best place for me to be looking. I don't know it off the top of my head. And that's okay. This all feels right. This parent palm, that's the one that should just be saying, hey. I don't understand this part where it's trying to resolve Spring Boot dependencies, POM. Spring Boot version is project.parent.version. Yeah, because when that property is getting consumed by the subs, the Spring Boot version is 3.0. We're going to say 3.0, 3.1.0. Let's fix this. Right? Sometimes you just got to read and not get frustrated. Okay, now it says problems version Jacoco, and this is saying it's still looking for 001. Yay. Property, Spring Boot version. So I bet you I have that same thing here. The version is Spring Boot version. That should be right. Oh, so let's do it this way with the dash N. Okay. There we go. If I live in Russia, will you send Raspberry Pi? Yes. Yes. It means more to me, as long as I'm not going to get in trouble. I guess I should care that. I think that I can send you a Raspberry Pi. I won't send any disk with it. What's the worst that can happen? Right? Well, I guess it could get a little dicey. But yes, wherever you are in the world, I will send it. I send stickers. If you would like stickers for Spring Office Hours, you send an email to stickers at springofficehours.io, which is not this show. It's another show that I do with my good friend Dan Vega. But I send stuff all over the world. It's totally worth it because it is. And I'm happy. I would be happy for you to have a Raspberry Pi 0 to play with, or 0W. So yes, wherever you're at, I'll send it wherever. All right, so now look at this. We're making some progress, and it only took us how long? How long have we been here? I can't see it. I don't know how the computers work. For some reason, this screen that I'm looking at up here is like really, if I put it like actual size, it It's really wonky. All right, so yeah, it only took us 40 minutes to get a clean build, right? Like, how's that for high quality content? All right. But now we're cooking with gas. So the thing that we changed was we had to build the parent first in order to get the child projects to build properly. So this in all of them, they get it from the parent. All right. Do they? Yeah, clearly they do. All right, so now we've got some projects. So now the starter is what we care about. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go back to start.spring.io, and we're going to build a new project using Maven. It doesn't have to be Maven, but we're gonna use Maven, and we are going to just get the actuator. So now that I say this, I remember it's kind of coming back to me. I'm going to put the actuator, and I'm going to put web because that's kind of like my minimum to where I don't have to write any code. This project will boot up and it'll work. So let's generate that. Oh, you know what though? It has a sample app. We have a sample. I don't even have to do that. We have a sample app right here. It's like, hey, cool. We've got some stuff. Let's go run it. It uses the starter. It brings in pi4j and the plugins. So it brings everything. So I don't have to do anything. I should just be able to do this. Go into pi4j sample app. And what happens if we run this when we're not on a Raspberry Pi? Let's see. MNW spring -boot run. Oh, there's no MNW. So let's do / MNW spring boot spring -boot run. All right, what did it say? So first of all, I want to make sure that I got the right versions of stuff. Okay. And because I did change versions, I upgraded this from Spring Boot 3.05 to Spring Boot 3.10. There could be some other issues. I should probably go back and make sure that my dependencies are the latest versions. But let's see what our error says. Unable to load link this using the path. Okay, that makes sense. It says, hey, you don't have all those things. All right, so let's do this. Let's take that jar file, MNW clean package -d skip tests. Oops. // Let's do that. Go ahead and do the thing. And it did something. Replacing the artifact EA with repackaged archive. All right. And what I should be able to do is SCP target that jar over to the Raspberry Pi computer, which would I say it was called Spring Cubed.local. Okay, so that's going. Let's take a look. Do I have which Java? I don't have Java installed. So on that Raspberry Pi, we have to get Java. Now that Raspberry Pi again only has 2 gigs of memory, but we're going to use SDK man because that's the easiest way to kind of install on all the devices. What does it say? Looking for unzip. So sudo apt install unzip. Yes, please. That won't take too long. So now I feel like we're making progress. A little bit of progress anyways. Yes, I got my first. I got my first email that I noticed, anyways, of somebody sending me an email. Uh, David, if you're watching, thank you. I appreciate it. I will. Uh, and I think I only have 30. So I should put that on that banner. I should be like, hey, first 30. Let me edit that real quick. Hide, edit. Free Raspberry Pi, 0 or 0W. To first 30. 30. I think the number's in the 30s, so I think we'll be safe here. Show. There we go. Up to 30. Like there's one per user, and we'll get it. We will get it up to 30. So yes, it's as easy as that. Like how hard could that be? It's as easy as that. So now that we've done that, let's go back and do our curl SDK man. And it says looking for unzip. Like what? Please install zip on your system using your favorite package manager and then restart after installing zip. Like what? I gotta restart. That kind of seems weird. I installed it. But to shut down -R now. That's the command I like to run to restart the Raspberry Pi. I don't know why I needed to reboot, but whatevs. Maybe a path issue. So we can ping spring cubed. So I bet you're asking, like, what is spring cubed? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Spring cubed is what I'm doing where I am going to be delivering Spring Boot apps to Kubernetes. I've got a lot of Raspberry Pis around my home, and I like running Kubernetes on Raspberry Pi. I like running Knative on Raspberry Pi. So I kind of have like a default path on these Raspberry Pis, but there's a lot of ways that you can run Kubernetes. Kubernetes is amazing, and it's just getting more and more popular. So what I'm going to do over the near future, near term, maybe hopefully long term, is I'm just going to go about the different ways that I can take a Spring app and deploy it to Kubernetes. And I'm going to deploy it to all different types of Kubernetes. I'll start with this running on a Raspberry Pi, and I'll run it on my MacBook and on my M1, and I'll run it on just different flavors like Kind, Kubernetes and Docker, and the Docker that I get out of Docker Desktop or Rancher Desktop. And there's just tons of options. I'll run on K3s and MicroK8s, all these different places that we can run Kubernetes. And yeah, let's just see what are the differences. Hopefully they're pretty similar, but Kubernetes is another layer on top that we kind of have to understand, and we want to understand the benefits. So even what I'm doing today is kind of leading in this Spring Cubed direction. So I'm building this because, like I said, I'm going to land Spring Boot apps on Kubernetes clusters of Raspberry Pis. And this Spring Boot starter is going to help. I'm going to be able to do some interesting things because when you're landing workloads on the edge, on your platforms and your telephone poles and on your farms and all that kind of stuff, you want to be able to connect to different devices. So if I've got a cluster of Raspberry Pis, let's say I have 3 Raspberry Pis, and only one of those Raspberry Pis is going to be connected to some sensor. So the workload that I deliver to that cluster is going to say, hey, I need a node that has that sensor attached to it. So don't send that OCI image to a node that doesn't have the sensor attached because that won't help. So make sure that my workload that needs the light sensor, make sure that I land on the node with the light sensor attached to it, the physical device attached to the node. And then there's some interesting security things that you have to do when you're running on the edge. So we're going to explore all the things. And I'd also like to explore what it means to run Kubernetes locally. Like here, we run this little, if I can find my mouse, and we can show like, hey, what is kube context? Like what context do I have? I've got an Arkansas box that's back in the back and Docker desktop. So on this machine that we're connected to, that we're looking at, I have a Docker desktop set of Kubernetes. So if we do kube cuddle pods, I don't think there's any spring. Oh, get pods. No research. There's nothing there. But if I do -a, I should see some stuff, but there's nothing in the default namespace. But I did that just to show that I run Kubernetes on my machine. And what I'm doing, that developer experience of running Kubernetes for my Spring workloads, that's how I operate. So I just wanted to show that. So now let's see if we can get back to what we were doing. Let's get back to that Spring cubed machine. And it's up and running. And now let's see if we can install SDKman. And it still says it failed. Why? It says, please install zip. Did I not install zip? Really? Really? Here we go. So I need to unzip and zip. All right, so this will take a bit. And why is it taking so long? You're probably asking yourself, well, because I have that device is installed using a SSD card, little micro SSDs. There we go. Now, all that we've done is get SDKman installed. So let's do this real quick. And then let's do SDK list Java, because we want to see which version that we would like to run. And what I would like to do is, oh, look at that. I can get the latest and greatest of the Graal VM. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to say SDK install Java, this one, the latest and greatest, which I'm not going to do the Graal VM stuff on the Raspberry Pi yet because it's only got 2 gigs of memory. But I'm going to use that. The thing about that Graal VM, the Graal edition of the JDK, is it's still awesome. So the Graal JDK is my preference as well. So not only about the Graal VM native image stuff, but also just it's a great JVM. So that's what we're installing. And I'm really excited about this. So my plan for this near future, it's going to be probably July when I really kick things off. But the way that I'm looking at it is we have this show that we could do on Thursdays, and I'm hoping to do it with my good friend Mario, where we come in and code on Thursdays. We're gonna build an app on Thursday during the code session show on Tanzu TV. Then the following Monday, I'd like to deliver that app to ARM64 in my house. I got all different sorts of flavors of ARM64. And we'll take that app that we built on Thursday, we'll deliver it somewhere in my home lab on Monday. Tuesday, we'll have office hours where we'll do something around all the releases and all the news. And then Wednesday, we'll take that same app and we'll deploy it into one of the cloud-provided Kubernetes, like Azure or AKS or EKS or GCP or like one of the things. The idea is I want to do it in the data center and then in the cloud. But if I can just kind of get into the rhythm of building an app on Thursday and then taking it to Kubernetes and production the following week or production the following week, that's what I'll do. So that's the plan. How does that sound? It could be, yeah, all the things. The Docker desktop, local, Rancher desktop, all the different flavors of Kubernetes that you've heard, and the Kubernetes-ish flavors that you've heard. I want to play. I want to get it there. I want to meet you where you're at doing your Spring apps, and let's see if we can get those to production. So now I have that. And I'm wondering, Java -J. Hello? Which Java? Java help. It's like Java jar -J or something like that. Java -jar and then the file name. Java jar pi. Boop. So now we took the sample app, we're running it on a Raspberry Pi. It's coming up. Oh, I don't know if the sample app has a web. It looks like it. And let's see what happened. So the sample app is looking for some unsatisfied link error. Unable to load lib pi4j using this path. So it's looking for the pi4j stuff. I might have to phone a friend here. But we'll see. Looking, checking. I don't have all the answers, but I have Slack. Yeah. I'm communicating on another channel here. And I'm checking. I'm so distracted. Good times. Awesome. All right. So this library, the pi4j stuff, let's go take a look and see if I'm doing this right. Because what I saw in the sample app is it's pulling in the pi4j libraries. Do I need to deploy it someplace? I feel like when we did it, it should just work. It should just be auto configure. Oh, that's the thing. I have to figure out the auto configure to tell it where to look, I believe. We're going to figure this out. Okay, pi4j 2.3.0. So let's first of all, let's check and see if we're using the latest and greatest. Yep, pi4j 2.3.0. Okay. Excellent. Let's take a look at getting started. Okay. Java version. Okay. Yep. Minimal example application. So this, where's the repository for this? Here. Let's do this. Let's grab that. We'll just make sure that we're all working. Okay, and I think I can build and run that on this example. So let's take this, let's clone it, we'll do it this way, boop. And we'll do it on that machine. So we'll boop-de-boop. We're gonna git clone it right in my directory here. And we'll go into there and I can do mvnw, oh, maybe. Oh, it's a Gradle. But it should be as simple as that, right? Does it have Gradle W? Yes, it does. Wiring runtime, clean package right here. Gradle W build. chmod. That's going to give it the execute permission for that file, so that I can actually execute it. So now it's downloading the version of Gradle that it was packaged with, and then we'll see if we can get a build. So 2 gigs is not a lot, but it doesn't feel like it was that long ago where I was working on a laptop that only had 2 gigs of memory. So we've come a long way. And I probably just told you how old I am, but that's okay. I have a laptop. I have an old laptop in here that only has 8 gigs of RAM in it. And yeah, like it's still around. All right, so that is going. These streams, I'm not good at preparing content and thinking things through, and I realize that. So what did this do? I'll bet you ran into the same problem. Okay, it said settings file good. Unsupported class file major version 61. Oh, does it have a limit on the version? It says or later. Um, 6.6 is what I was asking for. All right, that works. So now this is interesting. So this library comes pre-installed on the Raspbian image. However, you can also download and install yourself using the instructions found here. So that's probably what we were running through before. So I'm glad that I came here. That's the Left4j API. Let's go and check this PGIO library. Make sure nothing or only LED is connected to the GPI before running a test. Most tests are statistical in nature and so may on occasion fail. Repeated failures in the same test, many failures in a group test. Okay. PIG, PIOD. So let's see on that box. Let's see if we can start that sudo PIG, PIOD. It's not found. Why is it not found? Did I install? Oh, so this might be a problem. It's not Raspberry. It's not Raspberry Pi OS. I installed Ubuntu on this. That's why it didn't work out of the box. Do I think I can get these? So let's try this. And this is good to know, right? This is good to know. I should be taking notes. Sudo apt install those things. That's not there. Okay. So here's the cool thing. The cool thing is I can reinstall that Raspberry Pi rather quickly. So let's do that. I have the ability to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how I do it. We're gonna and I know why I chose Ubuntu. I chose Ubuntu. So I have a decision to make. I chose Ubuntu because the kernel settings that come with Raspberry Pi OS, Raspi OS, don't support a Knative deployment. I like to scale to 0. I like Knative serving a lot. and that's kind of my default setting. So my Kubernetes clusters for the last year and a half have all been running Knative serving because I want my resource. I don't want my apps running when I'm not using them, and I get them back with Knative serving. So that's why I chose Ubuntu, because Ubuntu, its distribution that I can run on this ARM64, its distribution allows me to deploy Knative without having to recompile kernel or change kernel settings. So I have a decision. Do I figure out how to make this PIG, PIO run on Ubuntu, or do I just fall back and make sure that this library works? Because that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to make this library work first, and we can always switch it back. So let's do that. Right, so in my little travel bag here, oftentimes when I'm traveling, like to Spring.io, I take a little travel bag with me, and I take a couple of Raspberry Pis with me, and I have these discs because I'm doing things. I like to build stuff, and that's a nice way to end the night, is by like building something. So I'm just taking a Raspberry Pi, or this is an empty SSD card. It's a 32 gig card, and I'm looking every time that I need one of those adapters. I can't find them, but the little adapter for the 32, the micro into the mini, that'll fit in front of my Mac. So I need to find an adapter. I need to find a different adapter, because I'm going to build this on my Mac so you can see it. You can see the process. And I have one of those around here as well. It might be in the bag still. Please hold. We'll get this figured out. I don't know what I'm going to plug in here. And plugged something. Let's see. Yes, David. I did get your email. I haven't read the email, but I did see it. I saw it come through on my watch a little bit ago. So awesome. And when you sent that out, I said, hey, I have 30 of them. So if you've got friends, let them know. But I'll do up to 30. All right. Yes. Let's go. That's exciting stuff. So now you guys are motivating me. I know I had to bribe you to subscribe and follow, but that's okay. That's totally that's cool. Like lots of people do it, right? But I'm still motivated. So what I'm looking for is the Raspberry Pi Imager is the name of it. And how come I don't see it? Oh, here it is. It's Raspberry Pi Imager. All right, so now we're going to choose the OS, and we're going to do Raspberry Pi, not the 32-bit, we're going to do the 64-bit. And all we need is the light, right? All we need is the light version. We'll have to do Yeah, I think that's all we need. We'll choose the storage. I just put, wait, we don't want to do that one. How come it's not showing up? I put in a disk. Let me go and check that. Haha, I didn't click the disk all the way in. So I'll get that. Because that other disk that showed up, that's not the one. I don't want to do the 2 terabyte disk for a 8 gig image. Make sure to double check. Yes, that one. And then I'm going to do some settings. I don't want to give it the Wi-Fi password. I'm going to set the host name. Again, I'm going to use the same host name that I gave it for, Spring Cubed. And I am going to enable SSH, and it's going to get to go and use that key. I'm going to set a username and password. I'm not going to configure the wireless LAN. I'm going to set the locale. I'm in Kansas City, so I'm going to use Central, and then I can save. So there's just some extra options. And then I click on the right, and that'll take a second. Yes. All right, passwords. All right, David, thanks a lot. By the way, do you have a recommendation for the way to snapshot RS properly? So this is what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm bootstrapping a Raspberry Pi. So this is the exact same thing that you would do when you get your Zero. When you get it in the mail, you're going to get one of these discs, SSD discs. I think it needs to be, I'd recommend at least 8, but like the difference, finding an 8, you actually probably pay more for an 8 gig SSD than you would for a 32 gig SSD, because that's kind of like the minimum that you get these days, or 16. So I'd recommend getting one of those. You're going to need a power adapter. I'm trying to think, you need a power adapter, and yeah, and you'll flash one of these discs just like I'm doing, and you'll stick it in, power, connect a monitor or whatever to it, and you're up and running. You will have an operating system, but it'll be a 32-bit operating system. So you won't be able to do all the Java stuff, but you can still do a lot of really cool stuff, like the fancy lights. Like, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with these. All right, so now we can remove this, and we're going to do some shutting down. So let's go over here to this computer. We're going to say sudo shut down without the R flag, which is, hey, just go shut down. And we're going to swap out the disk, and then we'll come right back. We'll just keep on going. So then we'll just install SDK man, and we'll try our sample app. So easy as that. So I did the shutdown. I got to take out the disk that I just made, the image. You know what I can do is I can show you all the cool stuff. I can show you what's happening. David, okay, but I would like to do it like a cron on a mounted volume. Oh yeah, so I've got blog posts. Give me one sec. We'll get back to your questions. So this is going to be awesome. So here, one sec. I'm going to show you the device. This is what we're working with. It's a Raspberry Pi in a, I don't remember the name of the case that you can just get off of Amazon. But now we gotta power it down. So it's already shut down, but it still had power going to it. And I got to get to the disk. The disk is right here, right in there. So I'm going to take this disk out that's running Ubuntu. I'll set it there. And then I'm going to put this one in. Okay, so this nice little access here. Put that disk in that's running Raspberry Pi OS. And we're going to bring it back up. I think I have a way of... Oh, it's not working. I was going to try to see if I could... Where is that thing plugged in? Show some stuff off here. All right, so now we're back up and running, and we have Raspberry Pi OS. Good. So switch it back. Back to this one. All right. Now we are cooking with gas. So that on the first boot, that disk is going to start up slowly. It's going to expand the image and do some cool things. But you said, hey, David, you said, I'd like to do it like a cron on a mounted volume. I was looking for something in command line. Yeah. So I have this where it is possible. I'm going to take it one step further, and I'll show you that you can do really interesting things. And this will work even with the 32-bit 0 of like, hey, I want to connect this. So now the 0, if you're familiar, the 0 only has a USB adapter. So you're going to have to get a USB adapter, or if you get a 0W, you can set up the Wi-Fi on it. But I did a cool thing here where I boot over iSCSI. So if you can plug it in and you can set it up with iSCSI, you're in good shape. Now that I say that, I believe these settings will make it, they'll be similar to what you'll do with the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus and the 0. So yeah, I think you're going to be in good shape. I think that the chip is going to be the same, and I think you'll be able to install the same things and boot over a mount. NFS works as well. The reason I did iSCSI, and there is a tutorial from another Raspberry Pi fan, and why can't I think of his name? But he's got a tutorial on how to boot it over NFS. I'll do that. I'll send that with the Raspberry Pi 0. But yeah, there is an example of how to do it with NFS. So you got options. You'll be able to do it. But I've got this one on my website, deshaun.com. And what I should do is I should link the other one. Here's some tips. I just can't remember. Oh, I have a post that was kind of similar. Not that one. There was a good post that probably has a link to it. Anyways, there's lots of stuff. You got the link. Awesome. Wonderful. Yes, Raspberry Pi 3s and 4s. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad you're here. I get excited over these little things. All right, so now we've got Raspberry Pi installed. And now we should do this. It's going to say, hey, that key is no good. Are you okay with that? And what do I do? I edit. Hit that file. All sorts of stuff. There it is. Oops. right. Why didn't my SSH key, remember I installed the SSH key, why didn't that work? I don't know. So let's do the same thing. This is going to take a while. How about this? Let's do that other step first. Let's see if we have pi4j-piod, sudo pi4j-piod. Still don't. So let's see if I can do this. Right from the repo, sudo apt install -y, those things. Just so we're not trying to make this production ready. David said, hey, on my side, almost 1 a.m. I'll continue watching tomorrow. Wonderful. I appreciate that. And have a good night. You too, David. Thanks for joining. All right. So all we're doing, instead of going and updating all the stuff, we're just going to try to get this little example to work. So it looks like that's there. And now we have the pi4j-piod. Excellent. So now over here, I should be able to do this same thing. Still concerned about my key not getting installed. And I've got to do the SDK man. We got to get our Java version, which is all right. So do you remember what we had to do? We had to install zip and unzip, but they were already installed here. So look at that. And then we had to do SDK list Java pipe grep. I don't remember. This. Cool. There we go. This one. This is the one we want. The latest and greatest. Cool. SDK install Java. That version. We already copied that over. Now we have the PGIO daemon running on that Raspberry Pi device. We'll figure out how to do it on the Ubuntu device later on. We're trying to validate this starter project first. So what would be a good add is, I should probably put this in notes, is like should validate that PGIO or pi4j-piod is running. Error gracefully with details, if not. That's all that we've learned. So there are some steps, and this is part of delivering good software. Like, hey, we ran into this. We don't want people to have to chase around. So, another idea would be, hey, let's link to what we were doing here, runtime dependencies. I always forget. It's this way first. All right, so now we have Java installed. Java-jar. Okay, so we still have some problems. Okay, it says stop service. Let's see what we ran into. So warning, this error, PI init failed. The installation failed. Exception encountered during context installation. Canceling the refresh attempt. Error creating bean with name. Minimal example GPIO defined in URL. Failed to instantiate constructor through exception. Okay, that's okay. The minimal example GPIO. So it was trying to, so I have an idea that it might be just a permissions problem. So after I install the things, did I run? Can't initialize. Can't, so wait, can't lock. So we don't have permission. Try running as root. Sudo kill all BID. Let's try that again. Okay. So when I'm connecting, it might just be a permissions problem. So let's try this. Let's put this sudo in front of that. Sudo, and then I want to copy or let's just do this. Easy peasy, easy enough. It'll just take a sec. So I'm installing 2 copies of this, maybe. I'm going to get the configs, and it should be okay. Oh, I want to SDK list Java. Do the same thing. 22.3.2. It's just my favorite version. There's nothing really special about it. SDK install Java, that version. Like, it should have been like, hey, I already got that. Look at this. Look who's in the building. Thomas, how are you? Finally home from Barcelona. I'm glad you made it. Exciting times. You got to stay quite a while. That is very awesome. That is very awesome. I'm glad you made it. I am working on a Raspberry Pi starter project. So a Spring Boot starter for Raspberry Pi. So that you got a Raspberry Pi, you take your Spring Boot app, you add this starter, and we want you to be able to go and connect all the GPIOs and get some information about what's actually going on. So in order to do that, I had to get a Raspberry Pi machine so we could validate it. And I'm trying to update the project as I go. And the first thing we ran into was Ubuntu doesn't have one of the dependent libraries available out of the box. So we reformatted the Raspberry Pi. We put Raspberry Pi OS on it, and we validated it has the dependencies that we needed. And now we are trying to connect. So when we did it with a regular user, it failed. The startup failed, and I'm guessing, completely guessing, that it's a permissions issue. I haven't done the PGIO deal, so yeah, I think that it's a guess. I feel like I've done this before. I think this is what I had to do in order to get it working. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Why is it still not? That's weird. Let's move this, or let's move it this way. Let's just go over to our move. Which Java? Yeah, you have a Java or pi. Let's see what we got. Still not working. So here's what it says. We have an error. This pi4j-springboot error. pi init failed. Initialization failed. Exception encountered during context. This minimal example GPIO defined the constructor through an exception. So let's go take a look and see what the minimal example was. Oh, this was, wait, is that the, it needs a context and it's not getting the context. I feel like we did this last time. I feel like what we did right, this is the example that we were looking at. This is what we were trying to do. So that's the example that we had. Let's do this same thing. So it needs this, needs this, which I think we have. But why is this not working? So let's do without. Error creating this defined constructor through an exception. It was trying to instantiate. It's on a Raspberry Pi. I'm looking for something else. Thomas says, I've been doing Raspberry longer than I've been doing Java. I built a GPS activated bicycle lock in school. That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, so you might be interested in this. Undeclared throwable exception. So there's nothing plugged into this device. So do I need to have those things there? I feel like we were putting this in as like a next step example. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to actually do this. Yeah, I'm going to delete this. Because I think we want to be able to have this work. I'm going to do this for now. I should still be able to get the actuator info. So let's see if I've got tests that are wrapped around there. And I do. Except we're not going to do that right now. We are going to do all the stuff. Then on that sample app, we have a new version of the sample app. We're going to send that over. And we are going to move it again. And let's try to run it. So it might not have been a permission problem. So why am I running it with root again? I don't know. Let's have it. Thomas said, sent you a pic on Twitter. Got to sleep now, but I'll look at the starter when you got it. Yes. And I think I owe you some pictures. I'll send them via the Discord. Look at this. We're up and running. That's a good thing. So what I remember us doing, the place where I was stopping last time, was that I want, if you've got this starter, I want to start showing you stuff in the actuator. I think that's where I was, and I think that's where we're going to be picking up here today. So if you're here, so let's go see. But I don't need to. Let's go and run it as the regular user and verify that that works. So here, I got to get another copy over there. Nope. We expect this to work. If it works, it looks like it's up and running. So that means it wasn't an permission problem connected to the pi4j-springboot. So now we're up and running. So now I should be able to do is, because it started on 8080, I expect that no matter what I installed, that's the example app, no matter what's there, I expect that I should still have spring cubed .local. Look at, it's like I've done this before. And it says status is up. What I want to do is get those. I want to add the actuator stuff. So here where we do the auto configure, this is where we're, oh, you know what? I wonder if I was on a different branch. Oops. I gotta go look. So all these things are coming back to me on, I knew that there was something that was left to be done on this actuator, but I couldn't remember. It was months ago and I couldn't remember what we were doing. So let's go take a look at this project. Once I find it. Once I gotta find the link, I don't know where it is. Here we go. So was there, no, there wasn't another branch. All right. All right, well, we will figure it out. So let's see. Was there anything that I didn't have committed? Those are the changes I just did. Frank made some updates. Let's go back and now I'm going to be, the starter should be good. The starter just has the one dependency on the auto configure and Spring Boot starter. Excellent. And that's it. I don't think I need all of this. Maybe Surefire plugin. So now we got to go back to the auto configure. Perfect. So this is, and we had this working. We had this working. the info builder. Oh, was it on the info endpoint? It wasn't on the health endpoint. So I had to do I have to do the info endpoint enabled. So in this project, in our sample app, resources, application, Spring, I don't remember what it is. Is it actuator? Spring. Endpoints at health and how to live. Hello. Oh man, that's old doc. Spring tile projects, Spring Boot. Yeah, let's just go in here, reference doc. Let's see, actuator. Actuator, starters. Yes, we want the production ready features. Yep. Packaging. We're going to get to that word. I'm looking for the property on enabling the info endpoint. I don't know off the top of my head. Here we go. Info. Oh, that's just the endpoint. Where's the property? So this is the endpoint. Oh, did I stop it already? I did. So let's go start it back up. It'll start up in 10, 12 seconds. That's what it took. So look at, we are getting platform name. So it's getting information. Wonderful. And then it was, this is where info. So it wasn't there. Health. So I think we just have to enable that. Health. Okay. So I have this thing where I like to do initializer ++. What is it? Did I take it away? Expose and expose. Cool. So now I've got a application YAML that has the properties so I can expose all the management endpoints. So this says endpoints, they're enabled by default, true, health, show details always. Okay, so they're all going to be exposed and they're all enabled, theoretically. I can delete this one. And let's build it, and now we should have oops. Got a new version. Let's kick that new version over to the Raspberry Pi. And then let's see if we can get that working. Oh, not there. This directory. So let's close it. And what we are expecting is that this version has the info endpoint enabled, and we're hoping to see some information on that info endpoint. We're hoping to see some information about the Raspberry Pi because that's what we saw in the starter, I believe. Okay, we're capturing the info. It started up. What is this? Go away. Here. Okay, you're up. How about info? Oh, yes! That's what I'm talking about. So, we have the information about the board. So just by putting in that starter, this is great. It says, hey, this is a Model B with Ethernet. Ah, this is so good. Excellent work. Excellent work. I feel good. So with that, what I would like to do is I'd like to make it so that this project, so we don't have to do the roundabout stuff that we were doing. So let's fix that so that we can get a version out the door. All right, so now we've verified that the actuator works. I'm gonna shout out on Slack to my buddy and say like, hey, cool. Like, oh, he's here. Sorry, I was out mowing. Hey, I'm still live. And I just got the sample working. Boop. So you can still join the stream, or you can join the chat at youtube.com/@Sean. Boom. All right, so we're cooking with gas. This is wonderful. It only took us 2 hours, but not only is it running, it's running with the latest and greatest version of Spring Boot. And what we want to do now is I want to make it so that it can hop into the pipeline. I don't know what the process looks like from here. Is there GitHub Actions? Oh, here we go. So last month, add dependencies for demo app, align version numbers, and using detected board from board info. But what happened? Okay, so this is where those started to come in. So we had a problem with the build version. So let's see if this works. If I go here, if I change the version to version 3, and I build from the top, mvnw clean. Oops, I want to do it from the top. Let me close this. So this is over on the other device. That's cool. We're just gonna build stuff. mvnw clean install. Does this work? Excellent. I don't have to go and rebuild anything. So I think that if I commit this, oh, but we have a problem because they aren't taking the parent version. They aren't getting the parent version. So what I need these other apps to do, these child modules, I need their version. I feel like I can do this. I feel like they will get, but they won't. The parent. Let me go and peek at. A lot of the Spring projects have that kind of nested GitHub Spring data. All right, so Spring data examples. This POM, the parent, it has a parent version, but its version, artifact packaging. Let's go into example. Its artifact ID. Maybe I thought there would be a version. So since there's not, example and reactive, it gets a parent. It should get the same version, right? I'm just giving it the artifact ID. It'll be in the same group ID. So here, the starter, com pi4j, and the starter has a parent. So I think that all this needs is the artifact ID. So why did it get a version? Why did it get a version? Oh, I got to get the, there's a way to do this, I think. But see, they're saying, hey, this is the parent version that you need. And that comes from here. Elasticsearch examples, and it's this. I thought I could reference that. So where I change this in the parent, 003, I need to change it everywhere at the same time. Or I could do it the way that I do my other projects. So hear me out. I like to do, as I said, oops. I like to do initializer extensions. So what I've done is I've added some extensions to this project. One being the j-git_ver Maven plugin. It'll give a version number to the tag. And I wonder if that'll work on the submodules. And I've given it this. So if I go here and I call this 0, and I call this 0, it won't exist. Yeah, just bear with me. 0 and zero. Will this? I think it will. No, because it won't know it. Could not find artifact 0. Okay, that's fine. What happens if I do mvnw clean install? Okay, it says that POM0 was not found. So they are all looking for that POM0. So let me look at that plugin real quick. So the plugin, I should be able to get that information, but what it wasn't doing was passing down to the modules. So the extension is this, the j-git_ver Maven plugin. So let's see how to use that with a multi-module project. j-git_ver Maven plugin. Let's go to the wiki. Starting from scratch, introduce, use a lightweight tag to change the project IDE usage, continuous integration. Develop. It doesn't say anything about multi-module. So let's go and look at the, again, I feel like I got different instructions. Okay. So this is how I activate it in my projects by the extension. Okay. The config, I already did the config. Okay. Command line arguments. Resolve project version, replace project.version. Also in properties, dependencies, dependency management plugins, and plugin. Resolve project version. Okay. Export properties path. Working on detached head. Available output. Okay. Available output. Could I do this? Copy. Could I do this so I don't have to manually update? So this is the auto configure version. Properties in parent definition are prohibited. Okay. So I feel like there's a way to do this. Let's go again. I don't do this very often. The Maven submodule version from parent. Version inheritance. Do I have to specify the parent version? Since you can use $revision placeholder for that. The use is documented here. In short, the parent problem looks like this. Parent blah 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 version. And the child palm looks like this. You also have to use the Flatten Maven plugin to generate POM documents with the dedicated version number included for deployment. No, there isn't. You always have to specify parent's version. Unfortunately, it is inherited as the module's version. What is desirable in most cases. Moreover, this parent's version declaration is bumped automatically by Maven release. So this is telling me that yeah, I'll get that version. But how do I reference that parent's? I don't think that'll inside the parent. Well, it says I could. I mean, it says it's on the internet. Like, that's that one. Let's try this again. $boop revision. And then what happens? I can put that here. Here. Oh, it's starting to thunder outside. Okay. Okay. So does my, so the top level, it finds this value. It gets the 000 dirty, which is what I want. But I can't give that same version I can't get that same version. So let me go peek at these configs. I'm trying to find a nice way. Yes, you absolutely. Sorry, I didn't see the message. Can I ask a question about Spring Boot? Absolutely. That's what I know. So my day job, I'm a Spring developer advocate. Ask away. Ask away. I'm here to help. I want to help. I'm only going to stream for a few more minutes, uh, and yeah, let me take a peek and see. Did anybody take me up? I know I had at least two people take me up on the offer. You know what? I didn't get your email. Let me go look in the spam. I did not get your email. Oh, here it is. I got it. Report not spam. It's not spam. I got your email. Neha, thank you for subscribing. Oh, wait. Updates. Where did I put it? I just had your email. Oh, there it is. Perfect. All right. Ask your question. Spring Boot. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. I'm gonna wrap up here. Daniel said, "Hey, I'm going to wrap up." Doing more later. All right. So maybe I missed you on the question. I feel like I got things going. I could absolutely manually update these versions. Um, we'll see. We'll see. But now it's starting to storm. There you are. There's a question. It said, I read that each HTTP requests are handled in separate thread in case using Spring MVC, but I can't understand who creates these threads. The servlet container creates those threads. And with current versions of Java, each thread is a system thread. So it's an operating system thread. With Loom, we'll be able to, in the servlet container, we'll be able to create virtual threads, threads that only exist inside of the JVM. And this should improve a lot of things for a lot of workloads. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything to create threads. That's all handled for you. It's all handled for you. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to go. I got to clean up some stuff before this storm hits. I just heard thunder. We did some cool things today. And I'm trying to figure out the versioning, how I want versioning to happen or whatever needs to happen there. So I'm going to end the stream. I'm probably going to come back later. I hope to come back later and work on this and get a release out so that we can, start to play with this more. But until then, thanks so much for coming. It's been wonderful. And yeah, I hope to see you back again soon. Thanks. Bye.